If you're an NFT project founder, should you go for a profile picture collection or a pass collection? That's exactly what we are going to be talking about in today's video. Now, what inspired this video was a recent conversation I had with a new project that I started consulting on as part of our NFT growth consulting agency, Unfungible. And during the onboarding call, during the introductory call with the project founder was saying things on the line where his goal was to build one of the strongest communities that exist in the Web3 space. He wanted to build kind of a movement. He wanted to build a cult around this project. And I heard the C word. I was like, amazing, perfect. I love the C word. Let's get into it. Let's see, what do you have? Let's see the art. And that project founder shows us the art, and all of a sudden we get greeted with a pass. It's like a card that is rotating. So my CEO and I, we look at the founder, we're like, okay, so you're trying to build a community-based project and you decided to go with an art that is not a profile picture. And that's where he realized, after a quick back and forth, he realized how much he actually fucked up with the branding of his project. And I see that a lot of times NFT project founders, they have a certain branding, they have a certain trajectory they want to take their project. However, the art, which is the marketing of your project, which is the first impression that the project gives, does not align with that. So the question now is, when should you use a profile picture based art, and when should you use a pass-based art? And if this is the first time we meet, my name is Leon. I'm the founder of NFT growth consulting agency, unfungible.xyz. And what we do is that we help NFT brands properly market during the bear market. So if you yourself are an NFT project founder and need help beyond the value that I've been creating on this channel, more personalized hand-holding from myself and my team, then feel free to get in touch with us by clicking on the link in the description of this video so you can learn how we could potentially help and how you could get involved with us. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, should we go with a pass or should we go with a profile picture? Now, here's from my personal experience, and here's from kind of the market sentiment that exists around the NFT space. I've personally been part of many communities, many of whom were profile pictures and many of whom were communities that you can only access via a pass. Typically, when you have an NFT that is a pass, these tend to be a lot more geared towards optimizing for utility. The first thing these passes communicate is some form of access to utility. For example, we have the proof.xyz, the #1 strongest kind of alpha group in the NFT space. Their NFT is a pass. At some point, the floor price of that pass, I believe, was like 100 ETH, something crazy, something ridiculous. And by having access to that pass, you all of a sudden have access to a very strong, close, tight-knit community of traders, of alpha. The utility itself of the NFT is access to a community of traders. And the goal behind that community is for people to make money in the context of the NFT space. However, something interesting that proof.xyz ended up doing after that was releasing a 10,000 profile picture collection of Moonbirds. So Moonbirds Oddity was the secondary collection under the Proof umbrella. And if you notice, they decided to go with a profile picture collection. And the goal behind that was point #2, which is profile picture art tends to optimize a lot more for community building. If your goal behind your project is to build a stronger sense of community, then going with the profile picture route is the way to go. This does open up a new sets of challenges, because at the end of the day, it allows people to express themselves, whether that's people choosing the traits that they like within the collection. That specific Azuki looks more like me. I like that one because it resonates with me a lot more versus a pass where every pass looks the same. And #2, with the profile picture NFT, you get to represent yourself and you get to associate yourself with the project itself. You have the capacity to associating your brand to the brand of a project. So I'll give you one very simple example. I recently invested in the Azuki community. And the reason I did that is because I myself, I'm a builder in the Web3 space. I network with people. I produce content in Web3. So by associating myself with the Azuki brand, which is a very highly respected, highly authoritative brand in the space, I would all of a sudden be able to be associated with them and have access to the other people, part of the community that are part of the Azuki ecosystem. So I get the chance to network with people I would not have been able to network with without that profile picture. And the thing that a profile picture does is that it helps you identify who your allies are. In this sea of Web3 where everyone is trying to navigate this space, everyone is trying to figure out what should they do in this space, when you see someone out there with a profile picture from the same collection as you, or a collection that you own, all of a sudden you feel a sense of connection with that person. And all of that on a subconscious level, it fortifies the community element, it fortifies the community spirit, and ultimately it fortifies the branding of that brand. Because the more you see a certain brand on Twitter, the more you see a certain brand on social media, the more stronger that brands become and the more the community around it becomes stronger, and it kind of creates that spiral effect. And this is why, for example, we've seen again and again in the NFT space, bigger collections in the NFT space tend to have stronger community spirit because you have more community members that are part of that, so more activity, and you have more profile pictures repping the specific brand. That's why some of the most recognizable profile pictures on Twitter, number one, are Utes. For example, we have Mutant Ape Yacht Club, we have Beans by Azuki. All these are 20,000 collections versus smaller collections like Solana Monkey Business. Although it's a very highly respected, very highly looked up to brand, you don't see it as often, and the brand perception is not as strong as it is for these other projects simply because there's less of it. So in a nutshell, if you are trying to communicate for utility, a pass is the way. If you're trying to communicate that you have a community-based project, then a profile picture is the way to go for you. Now the question becomes, in the profile picture realm, there are hundreds of different options you can take. Which one is the strategic option that you should pick? This could be a full-blown topic for another video. However, I'll hit on that a little bit because we are on this topic. So there are three main types of art that exist in the NFT space, and each three have a different branding. So we have 3D type of art. Then we have graphic art, and then we have pixel art. So 3D art, this is where we've seen, for example, the Invisible Friends, we have the Clone X, and we have a lot of other projects. 3D art was incredibly popular during the bull market. We have graphic art. So this is everything that is not pixel, and it's everything that is not 2D art. This is where we have the anime style. This is where we have the bored apes. This is where we have the doodles. This is where it's the bigger category. I would say 80% of the NFT space is made up of graphic art. And then you have pixel art. This is where we have the punks. This is where we have the kaiju. This is where we have the crypto toads, the chimpers, the moonbirds. These are all pixel art. Now, what is the perception that each one communicates? And this is really the perception within the market. It's a certain sentiment that was created towards each one of these art pieces by the overall NFT community. And some of these might shock you. So 3D art right now, as we speak, is a very big hit or miss. Some of the biggest rug projects that came in during the bull market were 3D art because that was what was popular. It's more engaging, it's higher quality, it's more expensive to create, and a lot of high perceived value of 3D art has faded away simply because all those projects that have launched during the bull market kind of tarnished the reputation of 3D art. So the only project I can think about that has a high perceived value with 3D art is Clone X. I might be missing one or two, but that says a lot about the state of 3D art today. Are we gonna see a comeback? Maybe. But today, as we speak, I would personally, if I were to create an art collection today, I would not go with 3D art. Graphic art, this is where we get into a big chunky category. And from what is popular right now, as we speak, there's two types of art within the graphic art. The first one, we have the anime art. The second one, we have the cute meta. So the anime style, we have Azuki, we have Valhalla, we have, for example, Ether. They had beautiful art. Unfortunately, they ended up fumbling their own bags. But still, the community reacted positively to the art itself. And then we have the cute meta. The cute meta is anything that is cute. So that falls under pudgy penguins, sappy seals. These are kind of the two types of metas that are popular right now and are well accepted from the community. We also have on the Solana side, like kind of that gothic style. So a lot of those projects, they have like gothic mafia style, whether that's Art of Mob, whether that's Mad Lads, whether that is Gothic Degens. We kind of have that little Gothic style on Solana, but it's not as popular for the rest of the ecosystem. So if I was you wanting to work on a graphic art, I would try to stay either within anime or the cute meta. I would try not to wander a little bit too far beyond these. And the reason is very simple. I get the chance to see a lot of art. I've seen hundreds of arts from new projects that are coming out. And one thing I'll tell you, I've seen, the warriors from the war. A lot of times it's a hit or miss. And unless you have a very good artist that is going to make something incredible to the eye, I would try to stay away from wandering too far away from the anime or even in the graphic art. I would not hire anyone on Fiverr to make my NFT collection if I was into the graphic art, for example. No one. The third one is the most interesting one for me, which is pixel art. Because pixel art communicates two things that are very wide. The first one is it's a degen project or it's an OG project and nothing in between. So pixel art is either degen or OG. So by OG project, what do I mean? Any project that has a perception of being smart, smart money, smart buyers. And for example, some projects that are OG, for example, would be like CryptoPunks, obviously. We have Moonbirds, we have Kaiju Kings, we have Cryptodes, we have Chimpers. These are all OG projects. They communicate smart money and kind of wisdom in the NFT space, if you will. These are the people that have bought Bitcoin since 2014 and have held up until this point, you know? And then we have all the degen categories. So all the like projects that launch for $1, for $5. They're full speculation. There's no team behind it. It's just pump for the obvious reason that they are incredibly cheap to create. Any pixel artist can spin up a full NFT collection in 2 days for a couple $100, and all of a sudden you have an NFT project. So if you have, for example, an NFT project that is kind of designed to be marketed to have that allure of smart money, kind of smart buyer, pixel could be the option for you. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. To recap, a pass NFT is there to communicate utility. A profile picture NFT is there to communicate community. And within the community genre, we have three types of art. 3D, which I would recommend to stay away from. We have graphic art, which is a hit or miss, and I would recommend working with a good artist and kind of sticking to the niches that work, which are anime and the cute meta. And finally, we have pixel art, which is very much geared towards smart money or degen projects. I hope this was helpful, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to keep learning about how you can build in the NFT space, I'm going to be linking a video right here that I think is going to be useful for you. And I will be seeing you in the very next video. All right, ciao.